Hey guys, what's up? We're back with some more reactions after dark, and we are of course going to be watching Millionaire's son kidnapped and sold to be a billionaire, to a billionaire family, obviously by Stephanie Sue, which obviously that title sounds so ludicrous, so who knows what's going to happen here? Like, how does a millionaire's son get kidnapped and then sold to a billionaire's family? Like, what? Like, I don't even know what the heck's going on there. I feel like this is going to be like the craziest story that we've heard so far, possibly. Also, we are doing Chinaverse back to back. Just because this one's so short, I was like, hey, this is only 42 minutes, technically 30 minutes with the speed up, technically even less than that, because you're probably going to skip the first 6 minutes. So this video is probably going to be like, what, 40 minutes? Or so? Like on my end? So like might as well, right? Plus, no, just keep it on the down low. Not really doing too well. 'Cause I've mentioned it before. We're speaking of billionaires. Billionaires bought up all the property around here. It's going to destroy all of these houses and whatnot. Build some stuff that doesn't need to be built. So we got to move. We got nowhere to go yet. So just trying to get in more videos for a little bit of extra, coin here and there. Because again, I am monetized now, so just full disclosure, I'm trying to do more videos now, possibly. So you might see more stuff just because of that. Because of things are rough out here, but things are rough for everybody. So don't mind me. I'm just being upfront with why we're doing another like Stephanie video back to back instead of I usually even skip a day or just do something for like a split second, like the Dark Asia stuff, which is typically 20 minutes on her end. But yeah, just being full honesty here and why you might see more Stephanie and Rotten Mango videos is just because I know people want to watch this stuff and it helps me out, obviously, because again, we are in a rough spot right now with this nonsense that's happened over here. Anyways, nobody cares about that. We're going to get to the video now. Again, what is going to happen in this the story? Because how doesn't... I mean, it's a millionaire's son. I feel like a millionaire should have enough money to like get their son back, even if the person they're trying to get them back from is a billionaire. I don't know. Again, this just sounds crazy.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie, and today we are back with another dun mukbang. Woo!
Of course, we're going to skip ahead and past them eating and just get straight to the story being told. Alright, I think we're about to start talking about it.
Being the only son to a Chinese billionaire sounds like the ultimate dream, no?
Okay, only son, so they kidnapped him to be because they couldn't get a son somehow? Question mark. Like how long ago was this? Was this when China had like strict child laws? Question mark. Wasn't it a thing? You weren't allowed to have children, or you weren't allowed to have more than a certain amount because of overpopulation, something like that. So is this an old story, or is it just like new? And for some reason, this billionaire wanted a random son, so they had him kidnapped and sold. Or was the person kidnapped and sold by like some random, I don't know, kidnapping syndicate? I don't know what to call them. And they just happened to be like, hey, we can get you a guy, we can get you a son. And they just thought it was legit or something, I don't know.
If I am reborn, that is who I want to be reborn as Wang Sutong.
It's him again.
You think you'll ever come across these videos and go, what the f is this random Korean kid in America talking about me for?
Isn't he not that old? I mean, she said like this random Korean kid. Isn't she like, well, she's in her 30s now, right? Isn't Wong Sutong like in his 30s too? If not nearly 40, if not 40? It's not like he's that much older than her, question mark. Though, if you want to go on a tangent right now, just because I feel like we didn't really do too much talking, but I think it's just I'm just doing the wrong calculations, and like last video was like twice the length with the speeding up and cutting the first 5-6 minutes. She said that she, well, jokingly of course, wanted to be born as Wong Satong again in another life, which there is a theory that I've heard before, like one of the afterlife theories that I find very interesting compared to all the other ones, and it's that humanity could be the infancy, not even infancy, the fetal state of becoming a god, which by that, it's like where everybody on the planet is the same person. Like, so every person you've ever interacted with, everyone you ever loved, you hate, every crime, every good deed has all been done by the same person. Or like me, I'm talking to you, we're the same person. It's just you get born, you die, and it's just the same soul being reborn over and over and over and over again. And then that is how you create a god, right? It's just having this, I don't know, entity relive the exact, well, not exact, like live an infinite amount of lives, and then that's like the creation of a god. So it's like some story where like, oh, someone dies, they meet a god, god's like explains all this to them, and then they get reborn, and then that's like the end of that like story. So there is like some, I don't know if it's like a belief or if it's just someone's like thought of like what could be, and I find that like that's an interesting concept of like what the afterlife or like the meaning of life is. It's just us just living a billion lives, like we're all the same person, just living, hurting ourselves, loving ourselves an infinite amount of times over until I guess we become God. Who even knows if in that story that I'm talking about, like the God is like us already, because that's how time works when you're like a higher dimensional being. Like we're already that God talking to ourselves, explaining what's going on, right? And it's like not like when you die in the scenario, you go to the future or the whatnot. You can end up anywhere, the past, future, present again, etc., etc. So that's kind of why we got to this tangent, because he's like, oh, she wants to be born again as Wong Satong, which in that theory, technically, she is Wong Satong right now, because we are all the same person. Of course, that's just like an interesting story. I'm not saying that's like true or not, because like I don't know anything. I don't know what's real or not. I'm kind of fine with everything being real, because it's more fun that way, right? Life's more interesting if everything is possible? Question mark. Or if you want to go even further, if not necessarily if anything's possible, but if we believe dimensions are possible, then if it's not possible in our dimension, maybe it's possible in another dimension, etc., etc. Long tangent over. We can get back to it. I know that's a crazy tangent to go off on, but it's technically relevant to what she just said.
It's so random. I cannot.
Yeah.
Wow, I could buy mac and cheese, lobster mac and cheese every meal of every day if I was the heir to a billionaire crown.
Oh, she's talking
Yeah,
about
let's
this.
eat the lobsters.
Yes, like the billionaire kids we are. Let's feast on the lobsters. Okay, here you go.
Thank you.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Okay, the meat.
Cheers.
Cheers. Are you gonna dip?
I probably should just skip past. I think they're just going back to food, so hold on. We'll be back. I think maybe this is a good spot.
We are not talking about Wong Soo-tong today, even though I do kind of miss him. Do you guys miss him? We'll bring him back. But
Yeah, like I said that yesterday, right? Like, where's Wong Satong?
we are talking about a guy named Mei Zhi
美之
Qing.
之情
Sure, his parents are billionaires. He's filthy freaking rich. He's like a 26-year-old kid. They will buy him whatever his heart desires. He's going around with 25 Rolex watches, like a new Rolex every day of the month.
So I'm guessing he was kidnapped as a child and didn't know that he was kidnapped. Question mark, because he was so young.
He is driving around in Ferraris, going to the best schools, the best malls, the best restaurants.
Though you could also just probably ignore that part. Right, it's like, oh yeah, I remember being kidnapped as a child and taken away from my family, but I'm living life as a billionaire, so do I really want to say anything? Question mark. You don't know if it's like that kind of scenario.
Ooh, look at that. Okay. So how old is he?
27. And he's just living the best life. He's living the Nepo baby dream. But there's just something so weird about his parents. Even he cannot shake it. This is a real story that happened in China. I don't know, there's something about it. It feels like they're hiding something from him. And it's not what you think. It's not like some billionaire kid realizing that his parents are money-hungry billionaires that'll screw people over and
Okay, so he didn't know.
exploit people for money, right? That's not it. He just feels like there's, like, it's strange. The way that sometimes maybe even his sisters would look at him, it felt like they knew something that he didn't know.
Are they old enough to know that he isn't their real brother? Question mark.
I don't know. There was almost like this unspoken thing that was going on. They would always make these comments, and he just didn't know how to feel about it.
I feel like if you were old enough to know that he's adopted and you're in a billionaire's family, and you're probably out of touch, and maybe your empathy potentially could be low, I feel like you would just be annoyed that why does this technically stranger get to live the same life that I do, right? I feel like that's like because we all want to see, I don't know, people who are rich as evil. Not that I'm saying that all of them are, but that could be like a mentality that's possibly brought up, and thus they would want to tell him, right? Like, hey, you're adopted. You're not even our brother. You're adopted. It's not fair that you get to live this billionaire life with us, like a billionaire's child life with us. Though apparently, I guess they were just nice enough or empathetic enough to not tell him that, despite knowing that he's not their brother, knowing that he's adopted. But who knows if they know that he is not just adopted, but like stolen.
It was strange. He just always felt different from the rest of his family. His parents, his two sisters, his younger brother. It was very hard to explain. And then there was this random scar on his forearm. He tried to ask his parents about it, like, hey, there's a giant scar on my arm. I don't ever remember getting this scar.
Oh, they were violent in kidnapping him?
Where did I get it? His parents would glance at each other nervously. You got it in an accident when you were like a small baby. You were probably too young to remember. You tripped and you hurt yourself, so. Something told him that that was not the truth. He just had a very, very bad feeling, okay? But there was no point in telling anyone about it, and nobody in the world is gonna understand him. Nobody was gonna sympathize with him. Technically, he has the dream life. His parents are rich, generous with money. They never pressure him to study. They practically told him, hey, in our tax bracket, it doesn't even matter if you go to college or not.
Oh yeah? That's
I
what they
can
say?
just get you a job. I mean, unless you're trying to be a doctor or a lawyer
Yeah, unless he wants to actually do something
with your life.
with his life.
Yeah, but they're like, you don't need to do that. You can make a
Yeah, though, like I feel like you have to do something. Because just because you get, I guess the term is generational wealth, or just because you get wealth passed down to you from your family, from your parents, if you don't have a job to continue making money, you're just going to eventually burn through it. I mean, billions, I guess, like, it doesn't matter. Like, if they've made billions, that'll last several lifetimes, so you can't just have a set amount of people who don't have to do anything, like literally don't make another dime. It's just the number just constantly going down, and assuming they're not just wasting millions and millions and millions on nothing, they could live for like probably quite a while. Assuming you're being like what? Very stingy with your money, you could like what? Use a few million in a lifetime. So let's say you're using 10 million per person, or like per family, because you assume you're passing it down over and over again. So per family, you're only using like 10 mil. I feel like, or you could even like okay, so per generation, you're only using 100 billion because you're being as frugal as possible. Then, like 1 billion already is that's 10 generations, right? And if they're a billionaire, they're probably multiple billions. So, yeah, you could have like so many generations, like hundreds of years, I guess, of people just never having to work, I guess. If you just be like decently frugal, I feel like spending 100 million over your lifetime is not being frugal, but we're saying it is for a billionaire. And you could just have your generations of people just do nothing, just complete Wall-E for a few hundred years.
ton of money doing nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what they told him. And so he's like, okay, this is crazy. You know, he's being told if you want to be an artist or something, we'll support that too. We'll just pay money so you can be an artist. No big deal. It's all very nice. No one would understand him. No one would understand the suspicions that he has against his parents. But when he turned 27, May decided
27.
to do something on a whim.
He's gonna get a DNA test.
For fun and for intrigue, he took a DNA test.
I mean, how did he get it? It's still someone's hair?
He took a DNA test through the blood bank, and the blood bank flagged his profile with the police. The
Oh, I guess he's been missing, and they knew they had his DNA. I'm assuming it's probably actually pretty easy to get someone's DNA, if in that kind of way. You know, just grab a hair from the kid's bedroom or something.
police called him, and he found out the truth, the sneaking suspicion that had always been bothering him ever since he was a little kid. Not only was May not the biological son of his billionaire parents, he wasn't even really adopted.
Wait,
he was
what?
kidnapped.
What?
A billionaire's son.
Oh, so he didn't even know where the story is going. Did she talk about it at the beginning? No, I think she just opened up with like being a billionaire's son. She didn't open up with like what the story's actually about.
Was a kidnapped victim.
What?
Uh-huh.
To a billionaire's family, and they treat him so nice? Mm-hmm. Kidnap me, and please don't let me find out.
I mean, that's a lot of people feel, right? Just like, yeah, please kidnap me as a child and make me a billionaire. But who knows how that will actually feel, though? Since he clearly something was up with him and he needed to know. So that might have been him not being unhappy. Like, just because you have like $1 billion doesn't mean that'll make you happy. Like for some people, that's not going to make them happy. Sure, whatever. Some people will be like, oh yeah, you're dumb. Like $1 billion will make everyone happy. But still, I think some people, like having everything in the world will not make them happy. Like maybe there's one thing in the world that they would want that would make them happy. And if they don't have it, like all the money in the world's not going to make them, not going to change that. They're still going to be miserable without that thing, whatever that's going to be, right? If you're going to be sappy, love or something, like without the love, like they don't care how much money they have, yada yada yada. Again, that's not how depression works, right? Just because you have a lot of things doesn't mean that stops you from being depressed.
Now what? Like,
Now what, he said.
now what? He has to be returned? I mean, he's an adult, right?
He's 27 at this point when he finds out.
Does that happen in
I wonder if there's statute of limitations on being kidnapped.
China? Recently?
Oh, people were going crazy about this. I'm kind of shocked you don't know.
Oh my god.
Your sister told me about it. And everyone said, this is one of those stories where you hear about a kidnapping victim, and instead of feeling bad for the victim, you feel bad for yourself.
Tiffany always is, I guess, is the one with these stories, and I guess she doesn't tell her actual brother. She just like yaps with his wife instead, sister-in-law, her sister-in-law.
Because he was kidnapped by I shouldn't be laughing, but it's kind of funny.
So I guess it's like it's good for them that he doesn't know anything about any of this stuff, so that he can like it's like part of the show of him not knowing anything, so they can explain it to him, or she can explain it to him. Like that's kind of like the whole
Have you seen
point.
a statue of Lauren Sanchez on Jeff Bezos' boat? And he made this giant statue of her
Shut up.
coming out of the water on his boat. Oh my god, I'm gonna show you. Titties out and everything. Good for her.
What?
I don't know who that is. Is that his wife? Question mark.
Is that actually her?
I feel like her boobs in real life are bigger, but what do I know? Why would a billionaire family want to kidnap this guy though, right? How do we make ourselves more, I'm just kidding. I'm like more attractive to billionaire kidnapping in the best way possible. And who were his biological parents? This is the story that has been overtaking China. So I'm gonna bring it back. I'm gonna bring it back to the summer of 1997.
Okay, 97. Quite a while.
May is just 2 years old, meaning he's probably
2 years. So this is 97. Not to be... 'cause I'm being mysterious about it, but it's not like I haven't said it before or like I really care, but technically older than this guy.
28 now, 27, 28 years old now. And that day, the family had fallen into their little routine. It's the same every day. So his biological family. We're gonna call them the M family, the biological family, not the billionaires, right?
The M family.
Yeah. Mrs. M would rush to pack her husband his lunch. So this is the biological dad. She's packing his lunch, rush him out the door. So he had just started his own business in a little, like a province nearby. So he would constantly go out of the province for work. It was really demanding. I gotta try this.
Also, if he was 2 years when he's kidnapped, then it makes sense that he doesn't remember. Because I've talked about it before, but I feel like a lot of people don't have memories until after 5. Like whatever reason you might think that is, it's just, I've gone extensively into why that might possibly be a thing. Why you don't remember anything past a certain age. But yeah, it makes sense that he doesn't know anything about this. Also, this video was 2 years ago, just to also give you a hint of when this was made. So he's probably 30 now.
It's good.
It's good.
It's a cookie. So good. Isn't it good?
Incredible. He was one of those dads at the time where all he focused was on work. And it's not like he didn't care for his kids. He genuinely just wanted to do well so that they could live more privileged lives.
So there's going to be a story of where they only became millionaires to try to find their son. Like, he was already a hard worker to try to just make as much money as possible, as she's saying here, to like, give kids best possible life, right? But then did that go even further into becoming millionaires because he wanted to do anything to find his kid, and obviously possibly finding your kid costs money?
So Mrs. M went back inside after sending Mr. M, the biological dad, off, and she starts cooking. She's got 2 kids. You've got the eldest daughter, who's inside the house doing some homework, and then you have 2-year-old May, who's outside playing. And this is like back in the 90s when kids actually used to play outside without the fear of, I don't know, getting kidnapped, snatcheroonied. Actually, no, that's a
I feel like that, like, being kidnapped is always a problem. Can't just say that. Like, yeah, everybody was like possibly doing stuff outside and not glued to phones, tablets, yada yada yada. So I feel like the fear of being kidnapped was still there. Or especially, I think 90s is when the fear of having your kids snatched really set in, I think. But maybe before that, it was a bit, like, the fear wasn't too much there, but I feel like it definitely sank in the 90s, I feel like. I forget, I don't know what that movie's called. There's some movie about having your kid get kidnapped and never finding them again. I don't know what it's called. I don't remember. But my mom was, I'm pretty sure she was worried about that because of that movie. So I think that it was like a very much, like, it was starting to get heightened in the 90s.
lie. I think a lot of kids went missing in the 90s. Maybe it just wasn't talked about. Maybe there weren't.
Also, I don't know when the Amber Alert was put into place, but if it, I wouldn't be surprised if it was around the 90s.
Enough podcasts, so people.
Though, like, where would I don't remember where Amber Alerts would even be back in, because we didn't have cell phones. I guess it would just be on the radio. If you just happened to be listening to the radio, you would get an Amber Alert. Question mark. Though I guess once cell phones were a bigger thing, then maybe, like in the early 2000s.
People were just like, maybe it doesn't happen. So he's outside playing in the yard, and the mom and the sister would constantly look out the window and see him, and he would always be in the same place, or he'd be like a foot away. And he's 2 years old, you know, it's drizzling, he's full of activity. Which, side note, I forgot to mention this, but his biological family, this family right here that we're watching right now, they are millionaires.
Yeah, were they millionaires when he was 2, though, is the question. Because that also matters. Also, this is China, so I don't know if they had Amber Alert back then. I assume they definitely have to have something similar now, right?
This guy got kidnapped from a millionaire family to be adopted by billionaires. It gets insane.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say. Yeah, and then he chooses between the families later. It gets very complicated, and it's live streamed. It's like a reality show.
What?
I don't even know how to describe this case. It's like
Wait, what?
Do you choose your original family who's a millionaire?
multi-millionaires.
Multi-millionaire, so really wealthy.
They have a 5-story mansion. Yeah, they've got
What?
5-story mansion. They're really rich. Yeah, they're
Or you go with a
multi-
billionaire.
Yeah, and these billionaires, you're talking Ferraris, Rolls Royces, Lamborghinis.
Oh, I think
I feel like, again, how do you even kidnap a millionaire's child if they're living in a mansion? Like, you just somehow got into their mansion and snatched a kid? That's what I'm saying. Were they millionaires when he was 2? That matters. Because if they weren't, then sure, it'd probably be easy to snatch. But if not, like, how? How do they pull this caper off? It sounds so, again, ludicrous was the word used.
the answer is easy.
Yeah.
You go back to your original family.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, yeah, you choose your original parents. You got to live the billionaires' lives. They're millionaires, so you're still living in luxury. Like, you go back to your parents. You go back to your family. Though, there's conflict there, because you'd be like, oh wait, like, these people are my family. These are my sisters. This is my mom. This is my dad. They raised me. Yada yada yada. Like, so it probably is hard, and not just like beyond money, because you're dealing with like a lot of money and a lot of money. So either way, it doesn't matter too much. But like the emotional part of like, hey, this is my family. I don't want to leave them, but this is my real family. But I don't know them. Like your real family that you don't know, or your fake family that you do know.
You go back to the love of your life.
You go back to the roots. Yeah.
Back to your humble beginnings.
Your first loves.
Your first loves.
Yeah, your true loves.
So he's outside licking dirt and playing outside with no care in the world. And both of them, like I said, would keep their eye out on them. And an hour passes. 2 hours passes, and May's sister looks up from her homework. She had gotten into like a deep flow state with her homework. She did not even realize that 2 hours had passed. She looks out the window, and her brother's gone.
How old is she?
He's no longer outside, but that doesn't make sense. She's been super focused, so probably their mom brought him inside, cleaned him up before he could eat a meal. So she gets up, goes to the living room, no sight of her brother.
Yeah, like I'm wondering how old she is. She's doing homework, so I feel like she has to be like a higher single digit, if not like in the double digits at this point. So preteen. So either high single digits, preteen, or a teen.
Kitchen, perhaps? No sight of her brother. She finds her mom inside the corner of the house doing laundry, and she's like, Mom, where's May? I thought he came inside, but he's not outside anymore. He's inside, right? What do you mean he's not outside? I just saw him outside. Were you not watching him either? No, And the both of them drop everything, run outside into this like misty, humid air. Like just think misty. You can't even see that far. It's drizzling. He's gone. This 2-year-old May has vanished into thin air. It's like he's disintegrated into the mist. They check every inch of the house, the neighbors' houses, the yards, everywhere. They had the whole community come out and search for baby May, and he was gone. Mr. M rushes all the way home from his Millionaire company. So they start going through the streets calling May's name, and he's just nowhere to be found. At first, they try to make each other feel comfortable by saying things like, I'm sure he wandered away. He's gonna crawl on back. We're gonna look back at this and think that this is so silly. But as well,
I'm just realizing that I've talked about the story before, but it actually, this is like as close as it's gonna get, except it's not the exact same thing. Where when I was I 5? Like I said it in one of these Rotten Mango videos or Chinaverse videos that when I was like 5 or so, I somehow had, even though it shouldn't be possible, the premeditation to break out of the house. Like, I literally understood to like wait for my dad to go to sleep, knew where he kept the house keys, get into that drawer, which I think it was, I don't know how I got into it. I think it was like decently high enough, but I guess I got a stool or a chair or something, got into that drawer, got his keys without waking him up, mind you, because the drawer with the keys are in the same room that he's in asleep. Go to the front door, open the front door, go outside and just wander. And I'm pretty sure I did that multiple times. Thankfully, I'm still alive. Though I mentioned like one of those times I could have died. Life was saved. I'm not going to go too into that. Another time, I apparently wound up at Kmart trying to steal a toy or like get a toy and leave. I don't remember actually going into Kmart and getting a toy because this again we're in that threshold of memories that you can't really remember too well. I do remember vaguely like this scheme though of getting out of the house. I remember that. I just don't remember going to Kmart. I do remember like being at a police station. I think I don't remember what they were saying to me though, because it's been so long. I do remember being at a police station because they'd found me in one of these ventures. I don't know if these are 3 different occasions or 2, probably 3, or maybe 2. Maybe the Kmart one and the police station are the same thing. The almost dying one, I don't know if that was the same thing. So yeah, same kind of thing, except it was me leaving and somehow not getting kidnapped. Whereas this kid just somehow got kidnapped at 2.
one night turned into another and another. I mean, it's hard to come up with these comforting words. The family, they start fighting. Mr. M blamed his wife. He's saying things like, how could you be so careless? I mean, you're supposed to be watching both the kids. You're the one that was in charge of the house, and you just let him play outside in the rain alone?
That is something I thought might happen, is like there might be turmoil between the two, since she was taking care of them, and it happens under her watch. He might like get mad at her for it.
And Mrs. M felt the other way. She's like, you never come home, you never focus on your family, you're focused on your career, you're obsessed with working, you leave me alone, overworked to take care of the house and the 2 kids. Like, Jesus Christ, what do you expect from me? So while they're fighting, May's older sister would also retreat to her room, and she too blamed herself. Nobody blamed her, but she felt like, If I had just played with him more that day, maybe he wouldn't have the energy to go outside. If I had just watched through the window better, then maybe he would have not been missing. Like, they had no idea what happened. And for the next 25 years, the family never stopped looking for May. They spent tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars in his search. They sent out rewards in hopes someone would know where he was. But the family was just never the same. I mean, the parents stayed together for the sake of their daughter and for their mutual belief.
Okay, so they didn't break up, at least, which I thought might happen, which would have been bad, but...
They genuinely believed from the bottom of their heart that May would find his way back home. But that was the only reason at the time. Mrs. M tried to unalive herself by jumping off the roof multiple times. Even when her husband stopped blaming her for his disappearance, she just couldn't stop blaming herself. Mr. M's entire head of hair turned gray from the stress, and for 25 years...
How, like, early would that be? Like, how early did his hair turn gray? 'Cause he's like, oh, you see, he's just getting old, but... I had a friend in, like, middle school who had, like, a lot of gray hairs. And it's supposed to be from stress, but it's like, I didn't feel like he was that stressful. Maybe we didn't just know what was going on, but his like family seemed fine. So I don't know where the stress was coming from. He was overweight, so it might have just been like insecurities and like feeling bad about being overweight, question mark. So could have been that. So you can get like gray hairs really early on in your life. I know that. And there's also the thing, I don't know if it's ever happened in real life. You see it in shows sometimes, or like anime, I don't know, where a trauma will actually cause you to have like a white streak in your hair, like a permanent white streak, or maybe even like you said, just going gray all the way. Even though you're like really young, just have like a huge patch of white. So I'm guessing that is possibly what was happening to him. Isn't this not necessarily like such a traumatic thing that he just instantly turned white overnight, but like just it sped up the gray in his hair. I'm guessing is what happened.
They would periodically take out newspaper ads, TV ads, give their DNA to blood banks and police stations so that if May was out there, if he ever had to submit a DNA test for a criminal proceeding or even just to find out his genealogy, they would pop up in the system and the police would be alerted.
That is crazy.
But the truth is, so hard. In 25 years, they don't even really know what he looks like. They don't know if he gained weight, lost weight, what kind of food he likes. What if he dyed his hair? What kind of...
Like, how are you supposed to... Yeah, if he's 27, how are you supposed to know it's him from 2? Like, he was 2, right? You're not going to know your son just walking around. Unless his face is just somehow not changed over 25 years, which doesn't make any sense.
What kind of style is he wearing? They don't even have a picture to show the world. They can just say, this is my missing son. Here are his childhood photos from 25 years ago where he looks like every other baby. I have no idea what he looks like now, but he's probably 27 and looks 27. The only differentiating thing about him was a birthmark on his arm.
Oh, the wound. So he had that wound early. Also, I'm talking too much. I was hoping I could make this video short, so I'm not sitting here for like 5 hours uploading, or like 10 hours uploading a video, but like seems like it might be that way, but it's fine. Yeah, so he got that wound early, or was he just born that way? You said birthmark. So it was a birthmark, not a scar or wound, or maybe he was born with a scar. So maybe that can happen. I have things I was born with that nobody else has, which I'll just keep that a secret, but I do have something similar, I guess. Not necessarily similar, maybe the opposite, but they're just being born with something like that, because it seems like it was like a wound, not a birth mark.
Huh.
And all the cost of searching for their missing son was starting to add up. This is actually when the M family became millionaires, so they weren't as rich when May was born and when May was 2. But
that's what I was saying. Like, there's no way that they weren't. There's no way they were millionaires when he was 2.
Mr. M had to throw himself into work, not just as a distraction, but a big why was that he needed money to take out these newspaper ads.
That's what I was saying. Like, it seems like his dad was already a workaholic to try to get them the best life. So now that he's kidnapped, he's just going to do that times 1,000 to get the money to try to find his kid.
And these TV ads.
No freaking way.
And to travel to different provinces and look for his son. So he had a very strong why that a lot of business owners might not have.
That is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
That gave me goosebumps.
Yeah, so they became like multi-millionaires because of this.
Wow.
Well, like, it's weird to say because of this, but you
Yeah,
get it.
because of this. Yeah, that's his biggest motivator.
Yeah, the only reason that he kept going.
What did he do?
I think they have their own business. They have like a store, multiple stores, I believe.
Okay.
So
Wow.
he needed to make money so he could fund more searches in finding his missing son of 10, 20 years. Like the level of work ethic and passion led his company to bring in millions of dollars every year. And still, the money itself was like nothing to the M family if they did not have May. They would say that whenever they went out to eat at like a nice place or food that they were craving, they would lose their appetite if their brain even wandered to the thought of like, is May eating? What does he like to eat?
So they,
Yeah.
after all these years, they still think that the kid is alive.
Yes.
Wow, that's some parenting minds.
I guess they think that there's no way that he would have crawled away and died on his own or a body would have been found. They think that he's alive somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was, they always ask themselves, is he hungry? Is he eating? What does he like to eat? Does he eat spicy food? And every year for May's birthday, they would buy cake. They would put the corresponding number of candles on it and sing him a happy birthday song. They would blow out the candles and all 3 family members would just sit in the dark. Nobody wanted to cut the cake. And then eventually there were new people added to the table. They had 2 more sons join the picture, and both of them knew that they had an older brother that went missing.
Wow.
So they would cut the cake too for their brother. I mean, it was obvious that the M family, they never moved on from this. Even when they would move houses, they would always decorate a room for May. It was always, in case he came back, he would need his own room. He wouldn't want to sleep on the couch. During holidays, they would always save him a spot at the table with a bowl of food during like Chinese New Year. And in China, it seems customary for wealthy parents to purchase homes for their children as they get older. The parents, the M family, bought their daughters a house because they have a lot of money to spare. It was May's turn next because he's the second oldest, so they saved that money and ended up saving more money for the sons, but they always kept a space for him. So they saved up money for his house too, even though he wasn't around. Yeah, so, I mean,
damn.
yeah, they were rich and...
Well, meanwhile, the son is driving around in a
Yes,
Ferrari.
it's kind of...
Yeah, he's living the life, not knowing that his parents are possibly, or his family is possibly miserable without him.
crazy. Okay, but it is sad because just you wait. The son's life is not as picture perfect as you imagine.
Okay. Really? Because it's kind of like, oh yeah, he got kidnapped and given to a billionaire, but you can argue that him being kidnapped is already messed up, but he is living the life, but he isn't just living the life, question mark? That it's not just that easy?
It's crazy. So this is their life for 25 years until they get that phone call from the police station that's like, hey, I know you've been giving us your blood by chance, and I think we found your missing son from 25 years ago. Please come to the police station. So what really happened to May? He had been kidnapped off the lawn of his parents' home.
Yeah, by who? Like, do they know who did it?
He was just 2 years old, taken by a group of strangers. Human trafficking. Like, that's the simplest way to put it.
Oh, just traffickers.
Straight up human trafficking. They wanted to make a profit. They wanted to sell this 2-year-old baby and make a profit. There were families out there that could not have children of their own, and they really, really wanted sons.
That's what I was assuming. Like, it's just like, just get sons like that. Does this like go into the brother's home was Korean, right? That was a Korean thing, yeah, because like it was supposed to be like the Squid Game thing. So yeah, that was like Korea. I don't know if there's like a similar thing for China, just like kidnapping. I feel like they were doing that with daughters, weren't they, in China? I don't know any of that. It's just something back in the day, as like stories like people would tell about like what was happening in China with like the restrictions on having children and whatnot. I don't know.
So May was going to fetch a pretty penny. The first time he was sold, the kidnappers made a lot of money, but they started getting calls from the adoptive family, the first adoptive family.
Okay, so he was sold multiple times.
And they're like, hey, take the kid back. What? There are no refunds in human trafficking sales. What are you talking about? What are you gonna do? Call customer service? Write a bad Yelp review? You understand this is human trafficking. Look, the kid keeps everywhere. You didn't tell us that he has gut problems. You didn't tell us that he has health issues. You promised a good, healthy baby. So if you don't do your promise, I'm gonna tell everybody. And your reputation is gonna be trashed and no one's gonna buy kids from you. Which, like, think about that sentence, okay? Think about the sentence that you're saying out loud.
I mean, as a child, like, what did you expect? Of course, it's going, like, that's going to happen. Like, what? I don't know if this is even just, like, he has health problems or he's just a normal child going to the bathroom everywhere. And they don't know how to be parents.
So they're like, take him back or we're gonna ruin your reputation. The kidnappers are like, well, we are an established business, so we will take your kid back. They take the kid back, and now this is where it gets very iffy. It gets very, like, gray area. We don't really know what happens. We don't know if the kidnappers were working with adoption agencies, because sometimes that happened, where adoption agencies need babies, so they would work with human traffickers and be like, hey, give us a baby. This is not as common, but sometimes it's said that it does happen, especially back in the day. Now, that's an option. Option 2 of what might have happened is that the kidnappers sold May directly to a billionaire family. That one is not as believed because billionaires have so much access to so much things. I don't think that they would buy a child from a human trafficker, right? They would right? I mean, now that I'm saying
Yeah, it makes sense that they would actually go to establishments.
that out loud, that sounds silly because they probably would.
If I can trade one thing for a baby, I guess we have a lot of money.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now that I think about it.
I don't know, I feel like they would want to go to an establishment.
And then the third option is maybe the human traffickers literally just left the baby somewhere. They're like, well, we don't want to take care of it. I don't think so. I think maybe option one is the more believed one out there on the internet. So they take May back and they scratch their heads about what to do with him. If they're honest with the next buyers that he has got issues, nobody's going to want to buy him because it's just having a sick baby, I guess, is a burden to a lot of people. So for a while, they take care of May until finally a wealthy billionaire family decides to take in May. And again, I don't know if there was a third-party agency that was legally working with the billionaire family and they had no idea that he was being human trafficked. I don't know.
Wouldn't they say what happened? Like how they got a hold of him in the first place?
But this family takes in May, and I mean, they own a hospital. So I would imagine that they're not, like, they're really, 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 really rich. They had 2 biological daughters already, but you know Asia and the rest of the world, they're like, how can we let a girl run a business? We need an heir to the throne. We need to get a son. So they had been trying to conceive and it wasn't working out. They adopted May, and I mean, regardless of their reasoning, I don't think that they broke the law. They had no idea that he had been kidnapped, is the story that most people believe.
Yeah, the story that they're telling, probably.
If anything, it was better that the billionaires adopted him because they didn't look like the other families that were turned off to a health problem. Like the billionaires had resources and access to healthcare.
They are the healthcare.
They hire a personal caregiver to take care of all of his needs. I mean, like, no expense was too big. They spared nothing to take care of their heir, their one and only heir, their son. And that's just the money part. There are 2 things that were confusing in May's life as the son of this billionaire family. First of all, he always felt different from the rest of his family members. He looked different from them, and his sisters would, because his sisters are older, they know that he's adopted, but no one's telling him he's adopted. But his sisters would constantly say things during fights that would kind of almost insinuate that he wasn't part of them. And it just made him.
That's what I was saying earlier with it. It's kind of crazy that they have the self-control to not tell him he's adopted, especially during scraps like that, right? Just to be vindictive, question mark, or even if one of them feels upset or spited from him being around, like why does this like adopted kid who's not even part of the family get to enjoy the luxuries of life like we do when he's not even one of us? Slash, he's only here because they won't let us be the heir to the throne, if you're gonna say that.
Feel like, what is going on? Am I adopted? But then my parents aren't saying that I am. Like, am I just going through like the kid angst phase?
Is that why he took the DNA test?
At 27, yeah, for fun. And also just like, okay, I think 90% of him was convinced that he was not adopted.
So he was shook.
Yeah, it was more for fun. And then his whole world came crashing down. And he was like, okay, I was not a dramatic kid. I genuinely saw the signs.
I see.
So his family took care of him monetarily. He never worried about food or shelter, but since they were business owners, they never gave him that parental love that he was hoping for. He was still.
That's what I was assuming. Like, she said they hired a caretaker, so I'm assuming they did all the taking care of him.
Still treated better than his sisters, which is interesting. Okay, nobody should treat their adopted or biological children differently, but we hear stories of people treating their biological children better than their adopted children, or like slightly better. But this one, no, he was getting all the favor. He was the heir. The daughters were cold rice.
It's kind of weird, like, again, the heir, but like he's not related to you two, and you still see him as the heir
Kind of
over the other two.
interesting. That is until they got pregnant with a baby boy.
Oof. And then he was like, oh, we wasted that money, all this money and time on this guy. Why did we do that?
Oh.
Yeah.
How old though? Like, what's the age difference?
Like middle school.
When he was in middle school.
So it said that everything went
Oh, in middle school. So he didn't even get that old. He wasn't even that old when they actually got their true heir, in quotes.
downhill from there. May was no longer needed. He was no longer the heir. He was no longer. He literally became a mistake, a burden for the family, or at least that's kind of how he felt. He was so stressed from feeling very confused. Like, I guess to him, it just felt like I have this little brother, and my parents are just preoccupied because he's a baby. I guess he didn't think anything like too deep about it. He also had no idea why he was experiencing any of this. He just, again, thought it was a him problem. The only person that took care of him was his grandma. Yeah, she was the only one. Everyone tossed him to the side and ignored him.
Probably just like standard grandma stuff, right? Granted, I've never experienced a grandma because both of them weren't in this state, because they're cross state, and they all passed question mark before I ever met them, as far as I know. And if I did, maybe I would have been like too young to have known them. Though I don't know if like maybe one of them is still alive. I doubt it, because both my parents are arguably senior citizens, so it doesn't make sense that they're also still alive. I know that my mom's dad's gone. Both parents on my dad's side are gone. I'm just iffy on my mom's mom, if she's still around. I feel like she has to be gone by now. I don't know, though.
Brother's gonna take over.
Yeah.
There's some contention there, so that's why I'm not gonna really ask her about that, because it kind of like something happened. How long ago was that? Was it 15 years ago? 15, 16, 16 years ago happens that my mom did that was pretty messed up, and I think it had to do with her mom. Like something my mom did to me and my dad because of her mom, which I'm not going to go into that. But that's why I'm just not even going to like touch that hornet's nest with her.
Business.
Yeah. So, I mean, it doesn't mean that his parents abandoned him, though. I just think that he was confusing as a kid, because you're sitting there, you get adopted, you don't know that you're adopted, but they're like, oh, you're gonna be the owner of the business, and then a new baby comes aside, and you still get taken care of, you still get all the toys that you want, but it's like, oh, you're gonna be the new owner of the business. What did you say? Oh, yeah, it's in the pantry. Ah, you're gonna be the new owner of the business. Does that make sense? It's just very confusing.
Yeah.
It's not like they're necessarily bad parents. Well, yeah, that's kind of bad parenting. They did not give him the emotional attention that he needed. But people would still argue he's still a billionaire's son. They still gave him Rolexes, a Ferrari. They even told him, you want to go to college? We'll pay for it. You want to go be an artist? We'll pay for it. You want a job at the hospital? We'll pay you 10 times the market price.
Yeah, I mean, it's the thing I was saying earlier. It's like, yeah, he's living the life. Maybe it is. You have to keep that in consideration. Sure, he is living the life, but also with the way depression works, depression doesn't care what you own or what you have. You can still be miserable. I don't know if he was depressed because of this. Like, who knows? Maybe he's still living the life and was like as happy as he possibly could be. But again, depression does not care about money. Like, you might care about money, but your mental illness does not care about. Is depression mental illness? Mental ailment? Your mental ailment does not care about how much money you make.
The market rate or whatever. So,
Or how much money your parents make.
whatever you want to do, we'll pay for it. We'll support it. So at first he started working at the hospital, and then eventually he kind of felt weird taking from his parents all the time. He just wanted to be independent. So he started his own gaming company and started live streaming. Did
Oh? Gaming company? He's doing live streams? What the heck?
kind of well. He was like not like a live streamer, but yeah, he was a live streamer.
Oh,
He did
okay.
kind of well. And then 27 years old, he's like, let me take a DNA test. Let me take like a 23andMe. He did it through the blood bank. They had his profile flagged because his parents were looking for their missing child. 25 years ago, the police are alerted. His mind goes blank. I mean, like I said, he had the suspicions, but he had no idea. He was just joking. He thought he was an angsty kid. He did not believe. This was all jokes, fun and games. And now his whole world was a lie, and he was so freaking confused. He was speechless. But there was also a big part of him that was kind of bubbling with excitement. He was like, what would it be like if I saw them? What would they look like? Would they look like me? Would it be awkward? Probably be awkward. Would they even recognize me?
Is he doing this on stream? Like, did he do a DNA test on stream? And like this, we actually have his reactions to this.
What do you think they like to eat? Like, he's like asking himself all these questions. So he reaches out to them, asks if they want to fly into town and meet him, and they do. They're dying. Okay.
What about the billionaire family?
The billionaire family? I don't think that they knew originally, because they don't show up to this meeting. But once they find out that he met with his biological family, they wanted him back.
What? Who wanted him back? The billionaire wanted him back, or the millionaires wanted him back?
They wanted the son back?
Yeah, because they live in
okay.
different provinces, and he was living, I believe, with the billionaire family, and he would soon live with the biological family.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And there's videos of it. So June 16th of 2022.
Which one is which? Like, who is the guy here? Because one has a mask on. Assuming that's obviously the mom, but is it the one on the left? I'm guessing. Oh, I guess they have other children now, right? So this is probably the guy. Maybe? 'Cause I don't know. I'm guessing this is a younger brother, question mark, since they have 2 more siblings after the sister, right?
May went to meet with his biological mom and one of his younger brothers for the
Okay, younger brother who has never met him before because he wasn't born yet.
very first time, and their meeting was live streamed, and it was so emotional. Okay, you see
Who's the other girl? Is that his sister?
Mrs. M, the biological mom, crying. Just, I mean, you see all the things that you expect to see,
Is that the dad?
but you also see very complicated emotions. You see the tears, you see the happiness, but she just doesn't want to let go of her son. And I think there's moments in the live stream where you can see that for the past 25 years,
Yeah, maybe the one with the mask is the son, because like they're all huddled around him. So I'm guessing like he's the main guy.
she lived with so much blame and guilt on herself. And when she finally holds her son, I don't think all of it is relieved, but you can almost physically see some of that guilt being lifted off of her. And it's just such a, like, it's such an emotional moment. So May tries to comfort her throughout the meeting, and it's really heartwarming. And later that day, Mr. M and his sister arrive, and they have been waiting 25 years for this moment.
I've been looking for you for 25 years. Did you know? Your name is May? Of course, I don't know how to say that they said his name earlier, but May. You're from Jingji, I guess. Let's go back. When I saw him for the first time, I feel the familial bonds. That it is my kid.
May said it was so weird. He had no idea what to expect, right? But the minute that he saw his biological family, he felt this sense of familiarity. He wasn't expecting it because he hadn't seen them since they were 2.
Yeah, he didn't feel that familiar with his own like billionaire family though. So it probably the connection, at least there was some connection there. He can at least feel it, I guess, compared to the ones who weren't his real family.
But just being around them felt right.
That's so weird.
Okay, do you guys think that's true? Do you think you can feel family even it's been years? Or do you think it's because you know their family? So imagine they had sat down for a meal as strangers.
I mean, it depends on if we're going to believe in spirituality or not, right? It just depends on how you see that.
Yeah.
Would he still feel as much emotion, or would he feel kind of like a weird, oh, I feel like I know them from somewhere? We just like click, or is it because in your head you're like, this is my dad?
I would like to say it's in the head.
I think it's in the brain too. And I think it's different per person. We have these conversations all the time. Like some people value family a lot. Like some people value the nuclear family, like the structure of the family and family values a lot. And then some people are more chill about it. So
Yeah.
Mr. M grabs onto his son and says, I have been looking for you for 25 years. You are my son. Your name is Meiji Ching. Remember it, okay? You have to come back home. And the family lifted May's sleeve to see his birthmark, and it was gone. It was replaced by a scar. Side note,
No.
we don't know who did it, whether
Oh, so that's why it's a scar, because his birthmark had been. So it was a scar. So someone wounded him.
his adoptive parents knew the truth about the birthmark or the kidnappers, but someone got rid of the birthmark. I don't know how that's done. I don't know if that's like a laser or a peeling of a layer of skin. I have no clue, but he had this giant scar, and he always wondered what the hell that scar was from. And his adoptive parents just told him, you were injured when you were young and you don't remember it. You were too young to remember. But it doesn't matter. They were reunited. And that night, May called his biological dad for the first time in 25 years, Dad. And they all cried tears of joy. And the whole town. Okay, so they go to meet with May in May's town where the billionaires live, right? And now May is gonna go back to his hometown, to the area that his biological parents live. And the whole town knew about the M family and knew about their grief. They had seen them for 25 years nonstop talking about their son, looking for their son in the crowds. I mean, even making a room for him in every single house that they moved to. They witnessed it all. When they heard that M's family was coming back with May, the son that's been missing for 25 years, the whole community showed up. They were clapping the car down the street, and in front of the M family house, the 80-year-old grandma was waiting. She almost had to be ripped off of May. The feeling is like, if she let go, she felt like he would disappear again. And that very same day, they took a family portrait for the first time in 25 years. It's so cute. His grandpa used to have this white beard, but he shaved it off, saying that he wanted to look younger and more energetic in the photo next to May.
It's good that at least the grandparents are still alive, right? Because like 25 years, they could have not lived to see him come back, but thankfully, you know, they made it.
Aww.
Yeah. So a lot of this was being filmed and live streamed, and netizens were initially shocked. The case went viral, and I think everyone had an image of what the story was going to be. You know, poor family son kidnapped, sold to a slightly better off family, devastation everywhere. But instead, they were getting multi-millionaire son kidnapped and sold to billionaire family. And they were like, okay, so you went from a Mercedes to a Ferrari. I'm very confused about this story. And now you're reunited with your millionaire family, and it's heartwarming, but it's just kind of odd. It's just kind of odd. The netizens were like, I don't exactly know what kind of feeling I'm feeling right now.
I mean, the guy was still kidnapped.
I'm just sorry for myself.
Yeah, it's like, it's heartwarming, but also when the mom is walking you through 5 stories of her mansion to show you the room that she always kept for her son, and then you know that the son was driving around in Ferraris, it's like, it's confusing. It's very confusing. You know what I mean? And then they have a private rooftop garden in the millionaire family home where the family like makes their own vegetables. Netizens said the guy hit the jackpot. I think this guy was destined to be rich. Like he was chosen to be rich. I think so. And how good can his life be? It's unbelievable. Other than jealous, I don't really know what to say. I'm confused. That was the majority of the comments. A lot of people wanted to interview the family about their experiences, and May does not really like public attention. So he was live streaming before, but all of his live streams were not very personal. Like he wasn't necessarily vlogging. So he doesn't really like being personable on the internet. Even before this, he wasn't one to go on the internet and be like, hey guys, look at my Ferrari. He was just a bit camera shy, but he did it for his business, his gaming business, and now he was
He had these things, but I guess he didn't really want to. He somehow wasn't, is stuck up the right word? Stuck up's not the right word. He wasn't flashy or, I don't know, obnoxious is a good word, I guess, to use about it.
During the 25 years that he was missing, his family, the M family, the biological family, had created a lot of roots, had put down roots with a lot of communities that also had missing kids. So they bonded with a lot of parents who had missing children. And he felt like if he were to come out with this, if he were to talk about his story, there would be a reignited passion for the other kids' stories. And maybe one of them could be brought home. Maybe one of them was kidnapped and adopted. And maybe this was kind of that sign for the world. If you ever have a feeling like this, you should get DNA tested. So that is why they kept sharing the story online. And it just made people like him a lot more. And at the end, when they shared the story enough and enough, May said, oh, side note, when May was interviewed, people wanted him to talk shit about the billionaire family so bad. They just were egging it on. They were like, what do you mean? You thought you were adopted when you were in elementary school? Like, why? What did they do to you? And he was always very graceful. He said, you know, I had these feelings and I don't want to get too personal, but it was hard seeing my biological family. I mean, I had lived with my adopted family for 25 years. It just was a lot of complicated emotions. He's very classy, graceful. He would even say things like, I know people are joking about the, you know, money and stuff, but when it comes to money can't buy happiness. That's what rich people say. Okay, that's like what billionaires say.
And she's joking about it, but I've said several times, your depression does not care how much money you make. So, like, it isn't. There's a joke of like money doesn't buy happiness, but it does buy you yada 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 yada. Right? That joke. But again, people still are depressed. If you want to go there, delete themselves, despite having a lot of money, despite being millionaires, yada yada. I don't know if a billionaire. Is there any billionaires that have ever self-deleted out of depression? Question mark. There definitely has to have been millionaires, you know, like actors and whatnot. Like there's probably like a long list of actors that have, you know, exited this realm out of depression. I mean, I can already think of like one or even like multiple as is, but again, we're not going to go there. But again, your mental ailment / illness does not care how much money you make.
Money can't buy you happiness. Rich people have their own struggles. Rich or not, everyone pursues a different kind of happiness in life.
I know that might upset some people that I'm like saying, you know, I'm not saying all rich people are bad. I'm not saying like the opposite of that. I'm just saying depression doesn't care. And that's coming from someone who barely has any money. Like, I don't have that much. I don't have money. I'm not rich. I'm still not going to, like, throw people under the bus for no reason, though.
He talked openly about how complicated it was, and he just was very nice. He said, you know, my adopted family, they gave me a lot of blessings, and they hope that I come back home, but yeah, it's a lot. So people were like, we love this guy. Like, we literally love him. Why is he so cool? He also went on to work for his biological dad at his store, and he said it doesn't even feel foreign at all. Like, he was able to just integrate back into the family, his cousins, his aunts, uncles, grandmas. It's like no time has passed. His whole family just takes such good care of him. He loves it, and he recognizes how much guilt that his family members have of his kidnapping, and he just doesn't want them to blame themselves.
I mean, if he spent like 25 years just being like the stereotypical rich kid where your parents and siblings don't care about you, and then you get moved over to a family who literally is drowning you in love, I assume he probably is pretty happy where he is. Like, he's finally just being drowned in love that he possibly wanted this entire time, instead of just, you know, like she was saying, material things thrown in his face.
So in the end, he stated that he was going to be there for both sides of his families, but he is choosing to stay with his biological family and work for their business.
That doesn't mean the billionaires even still care, but I guess he was around for 25 years, so they might have some sort of sympathy still for him.
Wow.
He also said about working for the business, in the past I thought money came easily, but I realized that is not the case.
I mean, he was in a billionaire's family, so he's going to be slightly out of touch in that department. Can't really expect otherwise. He's not out of touch in like a lot of places though, which is weird. He's just out of touch there.
It's pretty real, okay?
We're working for the millionaire dad?
Yeah. Yeah. He went from uber privilege to like regular privilege, and he's like, wow, this is hard.
Damn, he's like, making $1 million is harder than I remember.
Yes. He's like, I just had to text my mom, and now I gotta do a lot. Wow. And this is where it gets really heartwarming. He actually quit social media. And
What?
all of his viewers were so upset because they were like, no, we want to just see like your day to day. You don't have to post all the time. But he said, my parents waited 25 years to spend time with me, so I just want to focus on them.
Oof. I assume it was going to be some sort of heavy stuff like that, but yeah, that's a pretty strong statement.
Wow.
So like, how did this guy have so much, I don't know, what did you say yesterday? That emotional depth? Or we'll just use the word emotional depth. Just quality. How did he come out so quality despite being in a billionaire's family? Well, being a part of a billionaire's family for 25 years and having just material items thrown at him his entire life instead of like love. Like, maybe it's because he possibly didn't get shown that big of depth of love that he like just that caused this. I don't know. Like, how is he so well put together? Or just saying just because he was part of that other family first, and it's just in their genes to be this way.
It's really cute. I'm literally gonna cry. And his little brother got married soon after he came back home, so he was part of the wedding. And even during live streams before he quit social media, people would donate to him, which is kind of odd. But he'd be like, please stop donating. Like, there's no need. I'm just trying to have a conversation with you guys. Like, trust me. I don't need more money in my Ferrari, he said. And it's a very confusing, heartwarming story. What are your thoughts? Do you think this guy was just destined to be rich, like people say?
Yeah.
Yeah. But the trauma, there's so much trauma.
But he turned out so well though.
Yeah.
So,
It's like, yeah, how did he turn out so well despite this?
I guess regardless, he's probably gonna turn out pretty well.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, it is
That
wild.
just makes me think like everyone should take a DNA test because you never know.
No, what I learned on Reddit is no one should take a DNA test
Oh, why?
because you're gonna break up families.
Okay, or you can find out you're a billionaire son.
You're the son of Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, you never know. Just have more options. You know?
More options. You find out your results, you don't like it, just hide them.
Exactly. It's like-
I feel like I'm kind of good. I don't want to know that stuff. Like, my dad's my dad, or what have you. Parents are my parents. I don't want to test.
hide them away and
So if you found out that you were a billionaire son, what would you do? Would you be like, hi, billionaire dad, nice to meet you?
yes.
You would really?
Yeah, hi Jack Ma.
Hi, Jack Ma.
My name is
Mr. Ma. You know, you should be very careful of your actions right now. I'm telling you right now, because in 30 years, do you want random kids knocking on your door going, so I took a 23andMe. I'm your son, nice to meet you. Do you want that to happen? You do not want that to happen. That's crazy. But okay, not to make light of it, I do think that he probably suffered a lot of different trauma, but it is cool to see how positive he is and to see how loving he is of both sides.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys tomorrow.
That was that video. Again, crazy video, though I would have liked to know if the traffickers got caught. I'm assuming no, maybe they did. It's been 25 years, so maybe they did get eventually caught. Like, could they have really trafficked 25 years while being caught by the police? I don't know. You know, unless they're on the police's side, you know, like Brothers Home in Korea. But who knows if that was going on in China too. Yeah, crazy story. Uh, don't know what else to say about that. Other than, like I was saying, like it's crazy that he turned out so well, and like more than well, like better than most people. He turned out better than most people, despite, you know, having all this money to corrupt him. Of course, allegedly, I'm assuming. Uh, but it seems like, just from what she's saying, he turned out pretty good. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Remember to buy my stickers or think about becoming a member. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, because we're going to watch them and subscribers. And if we have a throne now as well. And shout out to the members: EmmyStarr, RaleyDrew, and alexgkiller 880. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Tune to the next episode. Like, subscribe, comment. See ya.